Recording in progress.
You're good. You're good. I'm gonna call the regular meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. and ask Burgess next meeting to lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello. Motion that the Board of Members approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 4th, 2023, public hearing of March 16th, 2023, and April 4th, 2023. Each member received copies for review. Second.
All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion the Board of Members approve the monthly report of April. Each member received copies for review. Second.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna waive my opening comments tonight so we can speed the meeting along, and I may comment later. So at this time, we will entertain public comment. If there's anyone from the public who would like to speak, raise your hand on Zoom, step forward. If you're live, do something to let us know you'd like to speak. First call. Okay. Chris Herb. We recognize the gentleman from Park Avenue.
Nice to be back. It's been a number of years since I sat amongst the Burgesses and the mayor. And tonight I am here to endorse, from what I understand, the swearing in of Nikki J. Colley, who is a colleague of mine, an outstanding citizen, a wonderful representative of Naugatuck, and I wholeheartedly endorse her swearing in as commissioner of the Rent Commission. So I just wanted to provide that.
And in your honor tonight for being here, we're gonna move it up on the agenda also.
That was going to be my final request.
Done. Any further public comment? Carl Herb. Welcome back.
The original.
Good to be here. I also would like to recommend Nikki for this position. Known her for a number of years. She's a fine, outstanding person. Rustin, you are lucky to have her. We are lucky to have her as a Naugatuckian. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Don't be bashful and come back, Carl.
I trying to get him to, but he doesn't, he isn't doing it.
Last call for public comment. Okay, we will now go to, what is it, item 14. Well, we're gonna do them all. Yeah, because I want to explain it.
Okay.
All right, so we requested and gave an opportunity for members of the public to become involved and to get on the Fair Rent Commission, which is mandated by the state. We had a very good response. We got some great candidates. As it turned out, after sorting through them, of the 5 who were being put forward for the regular members, we have 3 unaffiliated and 2 Democrats. So I just want to point that out. There's no effort to favor anyone. For example, Megan, I didn't realize it, but your recommendation, Kevin, is unaffiliated. So we selected him. And by the way, I think he'll be excellent. We selected Mingo Bronco, who I think most of us know, to be on the Fair Rent Commission, as the landlord representatives, as tenant representatives, Nikki Colley, who has been endorsed by the 2 distinguished Herb members, and I did talk with her. I was very impressed with her. as a tenant representative. We have Jesse Bendler, who has volunteered to be a tenant representative. He is the son of Lori Rotella. And Jean Sirica, who is also unaffiliated, to me was very impressive. She's already studied the regs, done a lot of homework, and she's very active and interested. So I think it's a good board. We picked two alternates, one Republican, Jan Mazeski, who we all know. And I also selected a gentleman who came forward from the PTLI group that, you know, has produced some great people in Naugatuck, Raymond Caruso Jr.
He's great.
Yeah, so I think it's a great group. As it turns out, it's heavy on the unaffiliated side. But you know what? That's our biggest group of voters, so it's only logical that that's the case. So.
Can you tell Bob to
Hold on.
change? Go ahead.
I know your street address is wrong.
Okay, thank you. Yep,
Give me a chance. I got it all right here.
all right.
What I think we should do is, we'll go through these one by one. We're gonna correct Jan Mazeski's street address. Yeah, Woodbine.
106.
Woodbine. And that's it. Okay, so let's start with number 14.
Motion the board of members to approve the appointment of Jean Sirica, 45 Heritage Drive, Naugatuck, as a regular commissioner. Fair Rent Commission, term to expire May 1, 2027.
Second.
All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye, aye,
Opposed?
Motion the board of members to approve the appointment of Jesse Bendler, Hard Street, Naugatuck, as a regular tenant commissioner for the Fair Rent Commission, term to expire May 1, 2027.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor?
aye, aye,
Motion the board of members to approve the appointment of Domingo Branco, Northridge Road, Naugatuck, as a regular landlord commissioner of the Fair Rent Commission, term to expire May 1, 2026.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
aye, aye,
Motion the board of members to approve the appointment of Nikki Colley, Meadow Street, Naugatuck, as a regular tenant commissioner of the Fair Rent Commission, term to expire May 1, 2026.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
aye, aye,
Opposed?
Motion the board of members to approve the appointment of Kevin Gendron Jr., Rayron Circle, Naugatuck, as a regular landlord commissioner, Fair Rent Commission, term to expire May 1, 2025.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
aye, aye,
Motion that the board of members approve the appointment of Jan Mazeski, 106 Woodbine Street, Naugatuck, as an alternate commissioner of the Fair Rent Commission, term to expire May 1, 2027.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
aye, aye,
Opposed? Abstain?
Motion that the
you
board of
gotta vote for yourself, right?
Wedgewood Drive, Naugatuck, as an alternate landlord commissioner of the Fair Rent Commission, term to expire May 1, 2026.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye, aye,
All right, let me say this about the Fair Rent Commission. We're gonna have a presentation. There'll be some handouts, some information, and we're gonna have a presentation from, I'm not sure, but someone from the state of Connecticut on best practices, how to get started, things to look out for. The commission will also have the benefit of the borough attorney, certainly at the beginning and as needed as you go along. We have no idea if you're gonna have a large workload or not. It's a new program mandated by the state. I would think that, when word gets out that it exists, that, there will be some activity. And, again, there are rules. It's a question of following the rules and fairness and being inclusive and being, Noggy strong. So, I think we picked a good group of people. So, good luck, and we'll support the commission, as best we can. Any thoughts or questions? All right.
Swear in.
Yeah, we're gonna swear Nikki in right now.
Line up front.
Well, no, right there. We have to be somewhat near the flag, so.
Ready to make a picture.
Right now, see that? I, Nikki Howley,
I, Nikki Collins,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will fulfill the duties
that I will fulfill the duties
of the office of Fairbank Commissioner
of the office of Fair Rent Commissioner
in accordance with the laws of the state of Connecticut
in accordance with the laws of the state of Connecticut
and the laws of the United States of
and
America.
the laws of the United States of America. So help me God.
Congratulations, Commissioner. Kenny, is there anyone from Nugget took the ambulance? Okay, Kenny.
It's gonna be a quick report from Northern Gambles. Kyle's out of state this week, so he asked me to do that. We reported emailed out last month, or April, we did 402nd call, which is about average. We average between 400, 450 per month. 6 usually call in, and we get 18 usually calls out. So you can see we're still continuing that trend of giving more aid to our neighboring communities and receiving aid. And it's been pretty consistent for almost 2 years. Response times are well below the state standards. 5.78 for emergency calls, 6.68 for not. The standard about 8 minutes for emergencies and 12 for not emergency. So we're still beating that well below the standard for emergency responses. For our staffing, we have had 17 new applications, about a half dozen new hires. In order to fill some vacancies. We also have contracted with Bethany, we'll be providing EMTs on a as needed basis to staff their ambulance. They're paying us plus a surcharge on top of that. We've also been approached by a couple of communities looking for us to provide staffing for them. So that'll be that positive to not agreements. We were going to be meeting with Mayor Hess in a week or so to set up our own billing agency between us and Beacon Falls. Right now, we contract with a large national chain that does billing. We feel by having an individual do both towns, they can focus on us and help our collection. And finally, we're still waiting for answers on 2 grant applications, one with Ion Bank and another one through FEMA for about $100,000. I think you're hearing about that this summer.
Any questions?
Can I just add something? Sure. If you notice in the report, EMTs, sometimes are hard to get in towns. We get a number of applications for Naugatuck. They want to come to Naugatuck. And if you look at the second page, and you see that the towns that were providing mutual aid too, I mean, there's quite a few there.
We've been out to Woodbury lately.
Yeah.
Woodbury.
And the challenge for our crews is to get there, do what they have to do, make sure they make it back in time to get back in service.
I see them in Waterbury quite often.
And they do this dance. It's amazing how they do it, and they somehow get it all done. I mean, it's just kudos for Naugatuck Ambulance, the way things are done.
Let's have an engaged leadership down there monitoring the calls, and we can shift people around, shift the resources. Some ambulance calls can wait. The transport from a nursing home because of bad blood work, well, they can wait a few minutes versus someone who's choking or having a stroke. So he moves people around and we fill in the gap. So we have people come back from home. They get it. Literally,
There was an ambulance call today. Well, there was a police incident today that took them across the border into another neighboring town. And they had to call for an ambulance. And I understand there were a couple officers upset that Naugatuck wasn't responding, but they were in another town, another municipality, so they had to go by the protocol.
it took a little longer.
Yeah, it took a little long.
And today on the accident on Route 8, the rollover, they called for a Trinity ambulance because our ambulance was busy.
Our ambulance got to the hospital, said, we'll unload quickly, we're gonna get there, and they canceled Trinity. So we're doing it. We're doing it.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right. The side improvement program, is Attorney Fitzpatrick on the line?
He is.
All right, so he doesn't have to speak, he should listen, though, 'cause
Oh,
I'm gonna get some
Are you
work
kidding?
to do here. So as we've discussed in the past, we are going to implement a facade improvement program, which will be funded by the proceeds from our TIP district. At least initially, the thought is that it will be for properties within the TIP district, which is downtown Maple Street, Rubber Avenue. We can extend it further. We can extend it throughout the entire town eventually. But what we need is a policy that we're gonna implement. Now, we have a few. There's one in Torrington that has been used successfully, that I think we're looking at as a model. But what I'd like to do is to, come up with a draft concept. We'll work with Attorney Fitzpatrick, then we'll bring it here for discussion. The main inquiry will be, what is the limit? And how much is the town going to incentivize the improvement program? So, the idea is as we improve the downtown area and Rubber Avenue, it would be good to help the private businesses, also upgrade their buildings. So, I guess Megan is gonna be on that group. Anyone else who wants to be involved can be, but we're going to move it forward and have it ready to go, as we start improving downtown. Any thoughts or comments?
I think Seymour has a similar program.
I think they do.
That some business people have taken advantage of.
Right.
All right, also, I'm gonna go to item 9, and Attorney Fitzpatrick also should pay strict attention to my remarks. We have budgeted $200,000 in this year's budget to commence a townwide sidewalk improvement program. Now, tonight, two items later in the agenda, we're gonna talk about our 5-year road paving plan. We will be making a similar sidewalk improvement plan. Some of the factors, relating to sidewalks are interrelated with the roads that are being improved. There's a variety of other factors, safety, condition, but we're gonna come up with a recommendation for a townwide improvement program. We're gonna work with the borough attorney on an ordinance that will replace our existing outdated sidewalk ordinance. And we'll talk about how it will be funded, assessments and things of that nature. So it's a very huge project. It will take, I'm gonna say, possibly 8 to 10 years. It's a $22 million project in today's dollars. So we obviously can't tackle it all at once, but we have to start somewhere. So I look at this year as more or less a pilot program where we adopt the ordinance and we start, we see how it works, we tweak it, and then we advance it in the budget every year. But that's the background. And then as it moves along, we'll take comments, tweak it, and come up with something that works. Any thoughts or questions on that?
think it's a great idea. Glad we're going forward with it. We talked about this, like, we're gonna start allocating money for sidewalks. You gotta have a plan before you start really using it. And part of having a plan, we know we need an ordinance with a little bit of teeth in it. Right now, our ordinance equates, if someone's not doing what they need to do with their sidewalks, we have the ability to say stop, or we'll say stop again. It's not a very effective method of making sure there's enforcement. And so I think it's a great way to start, get a good ordinance in teeth that actually means something, and we can build from there.
Good to see you on this committee, Charlie. I have this picture in my head of you on the sidewalk.
As I mentioned before, I hope we're gonna consult with the Board of Ed, because for kids that walk to school, to make sure we take into consideration safety when they're walking, or even possibly adding sidewalks that may save a bus.
So the answer is yes, but I think we've already done that, but we're doing every sidewalk in town, giving priority to safety issues in schools, certainly safety issues. So, you know, we want everyone to comment on it. It's a daunting task, but it's an important one, and we'll get it done. All right, any questions on sidewalks? All right, farmers market expansion. So we've had a lot of requests to expand our farmers market, and to do so, and to do it right, it's good to have some attractions to get more people to come. So a bounce house, a band, things like that. So we are going to come up with a plan to do that. We want to set up an initial budget that will come from funds we already have in our park and rec account, something in the neighborhood of $5,000 to try and enhance our current program. And then the idea would be that going forward, as we get more and more participants, the participants would pay something annually to participate. And after the first year, it'll be funded by the actual vendors who come. So that's the initial thought. And I think our farmers market does well, but I think it could be expanded, and we get a lot of requests for that. So, and we're looking for ideas and thoughts on, you know, how to get more vendors and how to make it a little bigger and better.
I think a lot of it's just marketing, letting people know it's down there. I mean,
Right.
there's some in Woodbury and Southbury out there that don't have any attractions. There's no bounce houses, there's
Right.
nothing, and they're huge.
The ones that are successful have managers.
Yeah.
Who's usually someone from the group or two people from the group who get paid by the group to manage, promote, expand.
And maybe
Bring
like
in
talking to
attractions.
some of our like local farms, like the one that, and having them reach out to that
Right.
community
They-
of. other
Our
farms.
local farm is one of the primary advocates for this. They think that, because they go to a lot of other ones, and they say they do very well in Naugatuck, without, you know, much effort, and that they believe that if we expand it, market it, and have some attractions, that we can make it a lot bigger and a lot better. So, they're a big part of the expansion.
It's also an asset for our seniors, because they go to the senior center and
I
get
was gonna say they get the
certificates.
vouchers,
And
right?
it
There's a
helps them
new-
with the vouchers to
There's
shop.
also a new system this year where Harvey's aware of it, but they're gonna, in essence, get credit cards, not vouchers. So that new system will be implemented this year.
Fair question for you is, agriculture and promotion and development of agriculture is a high priority in the state. There, whatever, for a new grant writer, when we, go for that, there would be a nice project maybe look into, are the grants we get access to help us promote the concept of a farmer's market that is, again, trying to help out local agriculture in Connecticut, so we're not so dependent on stuff coming in from out of town, out of state all the time. There is, that would be very good.
Agreed. Any questions on that or thoughts?
question, it's just the fact that we unfortunately do have a local farmer in town that you look at over the past, say, 50+ years, the hardships lots of farmers had to endure, and for this young couple to, pick up the hoe, so to speak, and start tilling, it's, great that we have people still in our society that will do something like that.
And they, we've helped them with the field. We're gonna have a lot more production. They've hired 5 employees, so they're expanding. They expect to continue to expand. And they want to get bigger and better. And they want our farmers market to get bigger and better. So it's all good stuff. Okay, item 11.
Motion, Board of Mayor versus approve the 5-year paving schedule as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second.
All right, so Jim, are you gonna take that?
You don't want to.
One street at a time.
All right, I'm gonna start off with a very broad overview, and then you can get into the specifics. But I don't know when it was, but 5 or 6 years ago, just like we're starting with sidewalks, we started with a major enhancement of our road improvement budget. So what we do, and what's different from how it was in the past, and what we've been doing continuously for, I'm gonna say, the last 6 years, is that in addition to the money that, hold on. In addition to the money that we put into the budget and we appropriate, because our street department workers are now doing a lot of the work that used to be done by private contractors, catch basins, things like that. We also include all of the LoCIP money and town road aid that comes to the state. Instead of using it for contractors, we use it and put it directly into the road paving budget. We also, I'm going to choose the right word here, convince our utility companies to be a little more generous in what they provide to us for the roads where they work. And we've been able to, to spend, in the high 2s and 3 million a year, even though we're only appropriating, now it's $1.1 million, but it used to be less. So we've been doing very well, and we're making a lot of progress. So if you look at this program and you look at the first 2 pages of streets, in the spring of 23 and in 24, so in this budget year that we're in, with our 1.1 million appropriation and all the other items, we're going to do 2 pages of streets. So, that's a significant number. We couldn't do it if the street department wasn't out ahead of it, taking care of the catch basins, the utilities, the drainage, and getting everything ready. So they're doing a great job, and we're just getting, more and more done every year. I have to give tons of credit to Jeremy Lennon, who's in the audience. He leads the crews, and they do a fantastic job. So I'm going to stop there, and then Jim is going to tell us how we rate the streets, how we determine the order in which we do them, and where we're going to go over the next 5 years. Jim.
Okay, so as the mayor discussed, the first page is our financial analysis to see what we have coming with us, what we're hoping for the town to give us, and where we various areas of work we're going to do, whether we're paving, we're reclamating, crack sealing, or doing surface treatments. Next pages is 7 years of plan. I'm going to defer to Jeremy, who can help you explain to you how we determine and group these areas. But generally, what we do is we use our paving manager program, and it tracks the RSR. Several years ago, we did analysis of every street in town, and it gave us the RSR, which is the road surface rating. And the computer every year will lower that rating automatically. As it
So
goes
Jim,
through the
tell them
year.
what RSR stands for.
Road surface rating. So 100 is a road that is perfect, it's just been paved. A 50 is a road that's pretty much completely shot, needs to be reconstructed, and a 0 is basically impassable.
Jim, when we started this program many years ago, and we had some guy came in and analyzed everything, what was our RSA at that time?
It was
RSA,
a 60. I'd have to check, I put it in my budget submission, I think it was 63 or 64 or something.
And over that time period, when we have done major improvements over that time period, what is our rating now? Well, you should have had this.
And I should have had, I got printed out.
That's like, that's important.
Very important. We have made significant improvements. And I believe it was in the 70s, mid-70s.
Like 78.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's very good.
Thank you, Jeremy. Push the age, and then
Yeah.
if you stay on the trajectory of going, it's just gonna keep on getting better.
That's important for the fact that you gotta let the people know in the town that we have done major improvements over the years. But you still get the knuckleheads out there, because they only complain about when their road is bad, which is fine, I get it. But they need to understand it. We're not just looking at your road, we're looking at all the roads.
Absolutely. So in the past, how many years, in the past 5 years, we've tried to focus on main roads, because obviously those were in very poor condition, and everyone travels on the main roads. Now the main roads are in fairly decent condition, minus a few. And now we're trying to focus more on the local roads. So Jeremy knowing the roads more than I do, and having a large number that need paving. And also having met with all the utility companies to go through the plan and get their plans. And then when they're gonna propose projects, we went through and we put this plan together, trying to do as many roads as we can with the budget that we foresee having. You also notice that our per square foot costs are increasing. And I probably increased them $1 a year for the next few years, because we have seen a 10% increase in our costs at least. We have managed to include many of the roads that are on the to be determined list. I don't know whether you guys remember that list. I don't know if we included it in this list. But we can get that to you. It's shrunk significantly from where it was years ago. But we're hoping that this will do it. We're expecting that there'll be utility projects that will creep up that they haven't planned yet. Utilities, although we're coming with a 6 or 7 year plan, the utilities seem to only have a 2-year plan. And can't really give us any estimate of where they're gonna be. From what I recall, was the gas company, Jeremy, that said that they're done
Gas company.
in 2 years.
Current plans are done after the next 2 years.
So water company's still got a ways to go, but we should see a reduction in our utility payments in the next couple of years. And you'll see that we're not even forecasting any out there, because we haven't been given any proposed project. But if they come up with one, we're obviously gonna want to make advantage of their payments and try to figure out how we can squeeze it into the program, and hopefully with what they're paying us, we can.
Also, we also need to understand that the asphalt product is nowhere near as good as it used to be, say, 10 years ago.
Far from it.
And people don't understand that, because probably restrictions that have been put on it from, EPA or whatever it may be. Let me ask you a question. I know many years ago, they had discussed of the usage of maybe rubber tires or something being recycled into it. How did that ever go? And was it something that was not a successful program? based on certain applications?
It doesn't, it made sense to me, and just like you, but apparently it didn't, you know,
They're using.
pan out. They tried using glass, they tried using asphalt shingles. Now they're using recycled asphalt,
That's part of the problem, it's recycled asphalt, so that's what you actually.
but they're reducing the quality of the asphalt liquid they're putting in there to limit the impact on air quality. So you're getting better air, but your asphalt isn't lasting as long. I mean, we have old roads that are 35, 40 years old, and you look at them and go, you know, that's not that terrible for 35, and then we pave a road, and 10 years later, it's starting to look sad.
And that's
So-
why we implemented the micro.
Yeah, so we're trying to push the micro paving, more and sooner. And we're trying to do that. But it's gonna be tough to keep up with all the new roads we've just paved. And after 7 years, we should be putting a coat of micro paving on there, and I don't know how we're gonna keep doing it with the funding we're doing and still repave all the roads that need to be done.
Mike Franco has his hand up.
Oh, Mike,
I think that's just the pointer.
Oh,
Jim, I
I've
noticed
been
like,
fooled by that before.
Jim, I noticed like in Southbury, for an example, some roads that they've done there was an old time process that they used many years ago, which was standard oil,
A chip seal.
you know?
Yeah.
Is that something that is like, is the micro paving sort of taken over that aspect of it? Or is it, what's the reason why they would do it in Southbury and we wouldn't do it here in certain roads in Markham?
It's still something that I'd like to think about doing,
You're not seeing as much in the urban area.
but you don't see it as much because you have to put it on much more frequently. It's more conducive to roads that don't have curbs and drainage, because you can build up a road, much more. You can't do that when you have curbs and drainage and driveways.
What's the major, like cost differential between
Yeah.
something like that and micro paving?
Yeah, it's about half the price.
Half the price.
Yeah.
Tim, how does that differ as at all from Middlebury near Downtown Road, the method they use there?
They, from what I recall, they chip sealed that, but they also skim coated it. They also paved it apparently prior. They went through and they put a skim coat of asphalt, and then.
It came out better.
It turned out nice. They've got new oils that actually hold the stones better. But a lot of towns shy away from it because the stones don't hold very well at all. I know we got a lot that went to the general patent area when we did that years ago.
Yeah.
The first generation of
Okay, we deliver it.
micro paving, where it started losing stones, and we still get complaints about that.
Okay.
So a lot of towns are reluctant to use the chip seal.
Okay.
So far, we're happy with the micro. It holds the road together, it's not opening up a little crack. I think I've talked about this, where a crack, it's not opening up like a pothole, so it's saving that road where, like Pete said, the asphalt's just not lasting.
Yeah, the asphalt's rattling on the surface, it's coming apart, and it seems like if you get to it early enough to put this down, as long as you have a decent base and you don't have alligator cracking, and then it'll hold the road for another 7 to 10 years. And in good condition, so you can take a 7-year-old road and put that on there, and you're going to 15 years, and your road is still in good drivable condition. And the other way, you would have been at 15 years with potholes and looking at redoing it completely.
My road is a perfect example, which was done in '88,
Yeah,
right? They did the micro paving probably 5 years ago, I'm thinking 4 or 5 years ago. It could have been more 5, I don't, but it's been done.
Really watch.
And now you can still see, you can see now some cracks coming across the road. And that's probably more of a maintenance thing than anything else, where you can seal it, put some crack sealing in. I don't know if you have had a chance to get up to see that. Okay.
But that's, again, when you get to the point where that's 5, 7, 8 years old,
Yeah,
we should, have funding to go back there and do it. Right now, we don't have that in our plan, and at some point, we're gonna have to figure out how to start doing that. And the alternative is, what the pavement management experts would say is, don't pave the other roads. Let them go, because they're, the reclaimed roads are too far gone. You're gonna spend the same amount of money in the future reclaiming it if you do it this year or 5 years from now. So don't bother, spend the money on the roads that you're trying to maintain. So we're trying to do both.
Also, how many people are on those roads?
Exactly.
But
Another question. You have here, on one of these, time periods that you're gonna work on, May Street, Prospect Lane to Donovan. You don't,
I think that's the one, it might be in this Prospect Town Line, I think it might be missing.
it says Prospect Lane, but yeah.
Yeah, it's Prospect Town Line.
Oh, yes, line.
Oh, Prospect Line,
Town Line.
gotcha.
Yes,
And then it
that's
says-
what you have highlighted on that Parker.
It's not the redacted one. It says Donovan, but does that include Donovan Court and Donovan Road, or just Donovan Road? Because I've been on Donovan Court for about 18 years and I've never seen anybody do anything on my road. I know there are only like 5 or 6 houses on that road, but we have drainage issues and the whole thing.
That section wouldn't include it. Take a
You
look.
might want to take a look.
Yeah, you look at the micro pave
They
list,
saw that this year?
because the Main Street one is the micro pave list, right? You look at
Yes,
the
yeah.
different ones, that's just the micro pave. Yours wasn't paved, but we do be regular asphalt on paved. Wow, you have to look into that one.
yeah, didn't they micro pave Donovan a couple of years ago?
Maybe Donovan Road.
Donovan Road.
We don't think we went down hers though, right?
No,
Donovan Court is off down.
right.
So you'll see that of course, you didn't get the colored version. But you'll see various areas have different intensity of darkness. So what we tried to do is group neighborhoods that are all in similar condition, because we do see a substantial savings in the milling and paving when we do roads that are together. Versus doing, a road here, road there, road here, road there, so.
You gotta look at Locust.
We would definitely do that.
You have to look at Locust from the stop sign.
Yeah, well,
to
sometimes they
68.
forget to even plow our roads, so that's the whole other issue.
That's not a very good section. I drive that quite often.
It's like the surface of the moon bow.
Yeah.
Well, people need to understand too that we're post winter and with the freeze and thaw cycle, it's gonna be a ton of potholes here and there.
We've done huge patches on that section of Burgess Street, they just keep sinking over there.
Yeah.
Right after the corner heading to 68.
Yeah, there was some water main breaks over there, but that's probably,
That's why that happens.
that's it.
So Jim, we're gonna adopt the plan tonight, but if something comes up, we can always tweak it, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
And then we'll put it up on the website. I know the plan we have there is a few years old, so.
All right, any further questions or discussion on item 11?
Thanks, Jim.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye, opposed?
Motion to Board of Reimbursements to adopt the following resolution regarding the grant application to the Connecticut Communities Challenge Round Number 3 Grant Program as if read.
Second,
All right, so this is something that just came up this week. It never would have been addressed, but for the fact that we now have a grant writer working on a host of projects. But on Connecticut Community Challenge, which we've already won, we received 6 million in the last round for parcel B. And we are not applying as a town in this round, but the YMCA wants to apply for a project which they can't do without I shouldn't say they can't do, their chances of succeeding are far better if they partner with the municipality. So this would be a partnership between the town and the Y, but the Y would be supplying 100% of the match funding if we get the grant. So this is really an effort where we're supplying, a lot of help with the grant writing. We're working with the Y. In fact, I think, is there anyone, is Sherry there? Okay, why don't you come forward, Sherry? And I'll just start off and then you can take over. So basically, they want to acquire St. Francis School, which is an underutilized 23,000 square foot building. And they envision the first floor as a birth care, a child care center. We have a big need for it in Naugatuck. The second floor for a school and teenage programming, and the third floor as a teenage rec center. So there's great benefits to the town to partner with the Y, and the lower level will have a kitchen and family resources. So it's a Y project that will help the Y, it'll benefit the town. It's a perfect thing for a joint application. So Sherry and Danielle worked on this, and together they put this together in a short period of time. And we have to submit it soon, so tomorrow, so we're looking for authorization for me to submit it. I already signed it. You have it?
Yes.
But
yes.
as soon as we vote, we'll
Can I ask a question?
yes, absolutely.
Is this different than or taking place of that other YMCA presentation? No,
So-
okay, good, because I like that one too.
No,
The summer camp?
Yeah.
Yes, so the YMCA has multiple projects going on at the moment. Two of them are really childcare and family engagement. The summer camp, we really do need a summer camp, but not just summer camp, we want it to be a family outdoor center. So that's one of our key projects.
here's the point, we're going for both projects, right?
This particular
No.
grant is just for.
I know, but we're still going for the other,
Yes, we are.
that's what you
Yeah.
meant.
Yes, excellent.
Well, we love them both, so.
Good. So, just for some numbers, I did find out that Naugatuck currently has 135 children that are on a waiting list to get into a childcare center. So that is, infants to pre-K. But we also did the school age. We have, 5 licenses. We have 2 inside of the YMCA, 2 inside of the public schools, and we're actually getting a 3rd one for the YMCA program. So, I mean, we have the experience with the camp licenses. We really need to provide this to the town. We have a wait list a mile long.
Does the $3 million grant, does that include the purchase of the facility?
So we have to do a match, and our match will be the purchase.
Okay, and I'm assuming that in order to get up to code, you would have to put an elevator in that
Yes,
facility.
yes, we would have to have an elevator, and we would have to make a lot of different accommodations in that building. It's a pretty old building. We're probably gonna have to have asbestos removed. So it's going to take a little time to get it up and going, but it's a perfect location. It's right next to us. We already have a huge wait list, which means that there's a lot of people that want it. And the teams really need a place to go. Right now, they're coming to the Y, which is great, but our Y is shrinking. We've taken up so much square footage for childcare that we have no other place. So.
And would this be open to like Naugatuck residents or priority and then out of town, or would it strictly be Naugatuck?
So it's open to the community, Naugatuck. We provide services for Naugatuck, Beacon Falls, and Oxford.
Okay,
The majority of our families are from Naugatuck. We do have families coming all the way from Watertown. So it varies.
okay.
The Bank of America parking perfectly complements this.
The Bank of America parking lot was full today.
Was it?
Yep.
So along the lines of parking, I can touch on that a little bit. So otherwise, we encourage our staff currently to not park towards downtown, to park more towards St. Francis Field, only because we know that there's a lot of traffic Last year, I believe it is, we were approved to have a drop-off zone right in front of the Y, which is absolutely perfect. I was waiting for a ride today from Mark. We went to a training together and it was perfect. The number of families that pulled up, dropped off a child, got it and left is amazing. It's used for seniors, it's used for basketball, like Little Pell. It's a very, very busy area down that end. So with us having that other building, maybe we could do the same thing, a drop off and, you know, keep the staff down that end. Just parking on the side of St. Francis, inside of that little lot there, so we could have some people there as well.
Is the YMCA negotiating with the archdiocese, or is the town part of that negotiation?
Not
Town's
something
not.
like you.
Okay,
Yes.
the Y is, okay.
Right.
And, part of your negotiation, and I'm not sure if the town wants to talk about that or not, but the St. Francis Field, is that gonna be a separate issue?
It's
or
a separate issue.
Okay.
It is.
Thank you.
But you never know, maybe they'll say something about why that too. We'll see.
I think this excellent move, it's a natural fit, as you said, right? So the building's right next to it. It needs to have some kind of vitality to it. Nothing brings life to a building better than making it a youth center. That will also free up space inside the Y, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
So maybe you could even expand your senior programs and
Absolutely.
other things. So it's a broader stroke to our whole community, not just for the children. It's a great thing to see this. It's a you know, a credit to YMCA to be a good downtown citizen. You're willing to pick up that building and make it a good place.
Does this grant, if you don't receive, does this prohibit you from moving forward?
Well, we would probably still try to move forward. However, we will have to seek other funding to,
Absolutely.
you know, there's a lot of work that needs to be
Yeah.
done. You know, a child care center is totally set up totally different than a regular school.
Yeah.
A regular school has bathrooms all the way down the end of the hall. A child care center needs bathrooms right inside of the classrooms. If you think about a 2-year-old, they're not waiting to get down the hall. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
So, and remember, there's more than one round, and there's other programs.
Yeah.
And of course, the town is applying for some, but we're working together to try and get as many things for the community as we can.
My wife was in that building for 15 years until they shut it down.
Well, Mayor has, I think they're working.
Oh, you're welcome.
No, it's a huge.
So let's take the vote first.
Well, I can thank you though.
We're doing a roll call vote. Mayor, yes. Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Dorothy,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Rocky,
Yes.
Jan,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Is that it? Unanimously passed. So Sherry, I already signed it. You can submit it and we'll go from there.
Carol, thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thank you for doing
Thank
that.
you. Hopefully it works. We'll make it work somehow.
We have a motion that in accordance with the Connecticut General Statutes, section 12-62C, Board of Mayor Burgess hereby approves the implementation of revaluation of all real property within the borough of Norfolk, effective for the October 1, 2022 grand list by requiring the assessor to gradually phase in the increase of assessments for each parcel of real property resulting from such revaluation over a period of 3 assessment years using the following factors as recommended by Assessor Shelby Jackson. Second.
All right, I'm gonna suggest that we table this tonight. We set up, well, we could vote if we want, but let me finish and we'll decide. We set up a special meeting next week for the purpose of making our final decision. I'm pretty sure this is, you know, probably gonna be our final decision, but I wanna make sure our software and everything works, because we've been playing out a lot of scenarios, and there a lot of people are affected in different ways, and I feel more comfortable being able to explain every scenario and making sure the software works. So, but just to give you, an idea as how to look at this logically in your head. Based on reval and the rise in the grand list, if we implemented reval 100% and did not spend 5 cents more, the mill rate would be 34.49. So there is a 13.25 decrease in the mill rate if we have no new expenses. Now, going into next year, the first year, we know that the Board of Ed has a significant increase of about 1.6 mils. We know that our debt service is higher than last year because last year we did not have any payments at the wastewater treatment plant. So there's a big gap to make up there. We know, based on what we're doing right now, we are not relying on fund balance money. So there's another mill right there. Other town expenses went up, I'm gonna say, in an amount similar to what we get in new revenue from new construction. But we've got 3 big holes to fill, so that year 1 of reval, phased in or not, is the biggest hit. Year 2 is gonna go back to normal, and year 3 is gonna go back to normal. So what I'm gonna finish preparing and submit is gonna be, I'm gonna say 3 to 5 different scenarios for people whose assessment went up a relatively small amount, in other words, less than average, the exact average case, the average citizen, and people who went up a lot. And then we're gonna play out all the scenarios over 3 years with projected increases in appropriations and projected decreases in the mill rate based on the phased-in assessments. And I've got a lot of the numbers now. If I was 100% confident in them, I would do it tonight, but I think that we should not so much make sure the numbers are right, but make sure the software and everything is going to work, because different people are impacted quite a bit differently.
Mayor, does this also give us the ability that, and I've said this before, if we see a dramatic decrease in the housing market because of interest rates going up, values decreasing, etc., this gives us the ability to do another reval in next year, number 1, and number 2, how does that then affect our 3-year program? Does that nix it and then we go to a different program?
So the answer is we can do a reval every year. So we can do a reval next year or the year after, or at any point. I'm going to say that we can avoid the phase-in, but it's going to be, it would be a little complicated. And, the math and the computer and everything, we have to look at it and make sure, but legally we can do it. The question is how, to me, the question is the software and everything else. How do we want to make sure it all works.
I guess my question is, we're gonna commit to a 3-year program, which is fine.
Yeah.
But 1 year from now, if we see the drastic decrease in house prices, can we then open that back up to do a new reval and then do a different plan?
So the answer is yes, but we would have to run it through OPM. So I mean, OPM gives us permission to phase it in.
Yeah.
So we would have to run it by OPM. Now, some people are actually much better off. And I'm not just talking about businesses.
Yeah.
Because business and industry, we're all rooting for it to be, no phase. there are residences who are better off with no phasing. And, you know, when you think about it, the ones who go up the most are the ones who are helped the most by phasing. Some of the lower people, doesn't matter that much. Some of the people in the middle are helped, but not a lot, but they're helped. So, no, they're interesting numbers. And when you look at 5 scenarios, everyone's a little different, you know, like if you're, you know, party number 1, you say, oh no, I want it phased in all at once. Number 2, it doesn't matter that much. Number 3, oh no, you know, they're all different. I get it.
We have a special meeting on Wednesday next week.
That's what it's for. So the meeting next week is to finalize this issue and find the fairest way to implement revale.
Okay, so I'll rescind my motion on 13 and make a motion to table 13 till our next meeting.
Okay. Any, and the second as well,
I'll second.
or you withdraw your second?
I withdraw my second, and then I
And
second this amendment,
Withdraw second, have a second.
It's your second.
my second.
All right, all in favor of the motion to table?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 21, Board of Mayor and Burgess to approve the appointment of Allison Sancharico, Rain Dance Circle, Norfolk, as an alternate member of the Conservation Commission via expiration term of our Bennett term to expire November 1, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm waiting for the next motion. Roll, please. Are you ready?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion at the Board of Mayor and Burgess to approve the appointment of Terrence Chazul, Dermot Street, Long Island, as an alternate member of the Water Pollution Control Authority, term to expire May 1, 2028.
Second.
Discussion. I'll just say, Perry is a former employee in Waterbury, Centerville, intimately familiar with wastewater plants, so good addition.
We talked about the last name for 30 minutes. We didn't know how to say it. Sexual.
It's special. Yeah, it's special. That's Polish, actually.
Hey, Bob, hooked on phonics worked for me.
You know what? I should have just went Terrence Sexual.
All those in favor?
Aye.
A motion to Board of Mayor Burgess to authorize mayor has to extend the contract 19-12 as allowed in the bid documents for the 23-24 paving season with Cochiola Paving. Falls Avenue. Actually, it's 1380 Echo Lake Road, Watertown, with the escalation base being set at $502.50 per English ton, extended unit price based on the 2019 bid as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second.
Okay, Jim.
Well, this is completely accurate because this would take us beyond the extensions in the bid, original bid contract. Still recommending it. When the original bid came out, was 2019. They were, the next lowest bid was 15% higher than that. So they were at $84 a ton for the products we're using, and next bid was $96 a ton. So they were significantly less. They're proposing to hold their bid, so all their other items would remain the same. Asphalt is in the bid is escalated. Based on the cost of asphalt emulsion. So the bid was based on that $502 per ton. Currently, asphalt is $602 a ton, the asphalt emulsion. So that would add $6 a ton to the price of asphalt. So we would be paying about $90.45 a ton. The is still below the lowest bid, although that lowest bid would still be escalated by that same $6. So what that means is we are paying a little extra for the cost of asphalt emulsion, but we're not paying for any increases in the trucking, in the labor costs, in the stone that goes in the asphalt, in none of those other items. Where I think, it's a great deal. And I'd recommend we continue to extend it as long as, you know, prices stay where they are and Coach Yeo is willing to do it. They've done a great job with us. They've returned actually repaired work that has been a problem. They've actually paid with us and won the bid, every year, except for one, since I've been doing this, so.
Yeah, they're good people. They take pride in their work. And my question is, the English ton, is that a British thing?
And I don't know, that's what they write on the paper.
Just wondering.
He was a Canadian, so I'm gonna save money with it. So what's the correct number in here? What has to be corrected?
It probably should not say, as allowed in the document. It's more of a extend the bid. Because the document kind of says it was a 3-year extension and we've gone beyond that 3 years, so. We could go back out to bid again. But I'm pretty certain that we wouldn't do better than where we are now.
So just, if you want to eliminate the words allowed in the bid document.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Good with that?
Yes, sir.
Be good with that?
Yep.
All right, so we have an amended motion eliminating the words as allowed in the bid documents. All those in favor of amending?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so now we have, are there any questions or discussion on the amended motion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is the Board of Mayor and Burgess approve the bid for contract fiscal year 24-B041 for fireworks display July 3rd, 2023, rain date July 7th, 2023, Central Maine Pyrotechs, DBA Pyro City, Maine. Halloween, Maine, the amount $20,000 recommended by Superintendent of Parks, Sandra Lucas Rivera.
Second.
Be any longer. Good evening. We went out to formal bid for the fireworks display for the July 3rd, 2023 fireworks event. We only got one vendor, which was Central Maine Pyrotechnics. They have been our fireworks company for the last 3 years, I believe. And they were the only vendor. We upped it to 20,000. In the past, we've had a $15,000 show and a $5,000 show, but it was mutually determined during the budgeting process that they would prefer to do a $20,000 show. And it actually works out better for us this year, specifically because we have now moved the fireworks launch site from the Breens complex down to the Borough property, formerly the Lanxess property under the trestle. And that allows us to go with 8-inch shells, which gives us another 300 feet of height, which will pretty much give the display the view of almost the entire town and surrounding.
Geez, I wonder if I see it at my house.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
300 feet's a lot.
so the larger mortars would have cost more money, which would have diminished the size. So that extra $5,000 to the show was a good decision on that part. So we are just requesting that be awarded to Central Maine Pyro.
Do you have to tell Oxford Airport of something like this?
That's a good question. The police department usually takes care of determining who to contact to let Metro North
The
know.
question I think
State
is,
police.
we
Metro
have to
North.
tell more people now that we're going
Now
out.
that we're going higher, the state, the state fire marshal's office approves it, so I think that they probably have some area regulations when they're approving it to determine whether or not it's a no fire, no shooting zone or.
But I guess I feel better if you call the airport.
Yeah, we just don't want to take a plane down.
Yeah,
Well, the same as it used to be. They were shooting gates in high school years ago.
Yeah, but it won't hurt to notify them, so we'll let the state fire marshal give us contact information of who we should speak to.
Headline. Naugatuck this evening, they shot a plane down.
Strike that from the record. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion for Board of Mayor Burgess to approve the bid contract fiscal year 24 E042 for fence repair and replacement for the following vendors as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart as it read.
Second.
I am filling in for Mr. Stewart. To award the bids, I'm the one that usually, goes through with accounting and, puts them together, so it just makes more sense. These are our annual bids that we go out every year for, our vendors, as you'll see in the next motion. This one is for fence repair replacement. The 4 companies that we're awarding to, are all for that bid. They were the only 4 companies, so we're awarding for all of them because unless it's an emergency repair, when we're doing projects, we get quotes from wherever our vendors are and hoping that they're competitive enough to get.
So tonight, we're doing our approved vendor list, basically.
Correct, the bidders and then the approved vendor list for those that aren't on there. Correct. Or next month, yes.
Well,
These are the contracts and then approved vendors is who we didn't get for next month, so that we could have our list for our vendors for the next fiscal year.
I mean, there's no pricing mentioned. We need it.
If there's any questions, I have my sheet, but it was all provided, so usually,
Your good analysis, good on the.
yeah, I mean,
This was an RFQ. The fencing quotes were all based on qualifications.
yeah, fencing doesn't give us pricing. This one doesn't give us pricing, they just give us their qualifications that they're assured and that,
Company doing, Delgado Field on here?
yeah, that's
Which one?
EF&G, DBA Eagle Fence.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion Board of Mayor Burgess to approve the bids for contract fiscal year 24 B043 for trimming removal services to the following vendors as per bid, as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart as it's read.
Second.
Sandra,
The tree trimming also, we got the 2 vendors from their tree services currently our tree company for this fiscal year. The coming fiscal year, we got Ed the Tree Man. We did get 2 other companies, which I have removed because we have a 5 to 10 mile radius within town to bid on the tree work, or else I get 100 bids that are all over the state. And these were the 2 that fit those parameters. So what will happen is when we have tree work, I'll give them about 72 hours to give me a price on the takedown or trimming of a tree. And the lowest bidder of that specific project will be the one to provide the service.
They're both good companies.
Yeah.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion Board of Mayor Burgess to approve the bid contract fiscal year 24 B044 for the purchase of tires and service to the following vendors as per the bid, is recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart as it read.
Second.
Discussion. Sandra,
Same, those are the 2 companies that bid H's, which is H's Automotive is an Arctic Tire. It's an LLC, and then we have Sullivan Tires. So the mechanics are really good about pricing out the tires and whatever, unless obviously it's an emergency, not to tires next door. But if it's a larger project of replacing the tires of a tire vehicle, then we typically get the price from the 2 companies. The lowest bid.
questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion for Board of Mayor Burgess to approve the bid contract fiscal year 24 B047 for purchase of nursery plants for Northern Nursery Inc., Mountain Road, West Suffield, as per bid recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second.
Same discussion?
Yeah.
Right, so the plans for the Hillside School Bank, are we gonna get them from this vendor?
No, I mean, I've never heard of them. They're outside, they're out in West Suffield, but it wouldn't hurt to get a pricing on them. We don't do a whole lot of plant purchasing. We've used Planter's Choice out in Watertown because they're a wholesale company. And we purchased locally from Blossom to Scoutsville to Middlebury for small plantings that we may do. But when it comes to nursery plants, I mean, we'll probably end up having to buy some shrubbery and stuff for up at Delgado and stuff like that. We'll get numbers from them and then
I have
for,
to make my homestead speech now, so,
okay.
A long time ago, Mr. John Whittemore set aside money to be used for the maintenance of the park by Bayside School. Where a lot of money was spent and those beautiful walls were built. And the money sat there and accumulated over time and there was no maintenance. And all those trees came into play and blocked the beautiful views that were planned by Frederick Olmsted, the foremost landscape architect in the United States of America. Now, having said that, we already took down a bunch of trees. We still have money in the account. So the plan is that we're gonna use that money to beautify that park. We didn't do it last year because we wanted to see how it was gonna grow in, and there's some issues, but at some point this year, let me say, before we finish the green downtown and the whole, downtown area, we're gonna finish it. So do we need other companies or?
Yeah, I think that, when it comes to that project, we'll have to look, I mean, there's some state bidders, there's some, I mean, the plans that they're looking at aren't very, we really can't pick a company because with the garden club, they have very specific plans, so we'll probably end up shopping around to
We'll
two or
deal with
three.
it later in shop.
Probably have
Yeah.
some different companies on the key vendors there for next month.
Yeah,
All right. And by the way, I encourage all Burgesses to look at that and, bring your thoughts to the meeting, but it's already a beautiful area and it can be a sensational area, so I vote for sensation. All right, Sandra, do we vote?
We have to say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the Board of Members approve the bid for contract fiscal year 24 B048 for eviction services, Ace Van and Storage, Realty Drive, Chester, as per bid as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second,
the eviction bid came in at $800 per eviction. Ace Van and Storage is the company that takes all the materials of evictions from the marshal's office, stores it, and then deals directly with the owner of the property. So they have been our company for at least 10 years now. They're the only ones that ever bid. They're local, they're in Cheshire. We've done okay with them since. So.
All right, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Board of Members approve the bids for fiscal year 24 B049 for hauling and recycling services. Following vendors as per bid as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart as the director.
second,
Sandra?
These are all the services that we have over at the transfer station, the AV carting. We take tires, so we have a 40-yard shipping container there for tires. AV carting, we've never used them, they're a new company, but they outbid our current business, so we're gonna give them a shot and see how well they do. Anastasio did the lowest on the bulk trash hauling. Considering the price of the tip fees going up, it was very reasonable. It wasn't much of a drastic change from last year, which was great. Scrap, they don't charge us, they actually give us a rebate. They went up significantly on their rebate. They're paying us $260 a ton for gross ton of metal with no charges to us for the dumpster and the hauling service. Interstate Refrigerant is a company that comes out, removes the Freon for everybody that drops off refrigerators, or anything that contains Freon. By law, we have to remove the Freon prior to throwing them into the dumpsters for recycling. Denali Water Solutions, they are the leaf collection. They pull all the leaves that we take from a curbside. They get piled up at the transfer station and then residents bringing them in. They do hauling of the leaves, trees, branches, and cut grinding. I'm not sure if you guys were given the actual bid documents, but just to give you guys a heads up, Denali Water came in actually higher than the low bidder, but we're requesting that we award to them because both companies have done the job for us. And although they're on paper, it looks cheaper, the production is way lower than this company does. So what takes them 3 days takes the other company 6 or 7. So we have experience with both companies, so we requested that we award to Denali.
Denali, I believe, is a very large company that
Very.
actually bid in part on the wastewater treatment.
Potentially, they've changed names like 10 times because they used to be, I
Well, I
remember,
guess my question is this the same Denali that I'm thinking of?
yeah. They're out in Farmington, they have a huge, they're into everything. But they hauled our leaves for a third of the price that we had from other years, and like I said, the brush grinding and the branches, I watched them, they did it, they were much more productive, so on paper it looks cheaper, but at the end of the day, it costs us almost 3 times more than what, these guys charged us. Oak Ridges takes a single stream dumpsters out of the transfer station. They stay pretty close to what we had last year. Connecticut Oil removes the antifreeze and oil and the oil filters from the transfer station also.
Or how come why us like USA isn't on here?
USA over never wins. Their
Really?
bids are significant higher.
Wow.
Yeah, you would think I thought for sure because they have the plant now, like that they're the ones actually processing the material. I think there's some things that, and I mean, I may be wrong, but some things that they just prefer not to
Don't wanna
do.
do.
Yeah, I don't know. But they did, we always contact everybody and they were one of them.
By the way, not now, because we don't want the meeting to go too long, but we're gonna talk about a trip we took to their automated recycling plant that handles our townwide recycling. And they are so far advanced, and the recycling operation there separates everything you can possibly imagine. And we'll probably be discussing a longer term agreement with them at stabilized pricing with incentives to share in revenue. They're starting to sell things worldwide and statewide, and recycling, I'm gonna say in large part through the skill and the plans and being forward thinking of USA, that they're making fantastic strides in recycling. So it's a good question. I was wondering the same thing, but I think the answer is that they're so big and they're doing so many big things with their automated recycling, they probably don't have the time, but it's just a guess.
All I got for that one.
All right, any questions? All those in favor?
Hi.
Opposed?
aye,
Motion the board of members approve the bid for contract fiscal year 24 BO50 for electrical plumbing and HVAC systems services to the following vendors as per bid is recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart. As it correct.
Second. This is the same, we have 9 companies, not all of them provide electrical or plumbing or HVAC, there's a little bit of each. So that's the same circumstances, an emergency, whoever could get out there the quickest, if not, when it comes to a project, we ask for quotes. I was actually just to give you a little thing, I was just actually telling Allison, I got a quote for a big job. The low bidder gave it to me 3 times, the same thing almost as the brush grinding. The quote was 3 times more than the guy that gave me the high hourly rate because clearly their production is a lot slower. So we try to keep our options open and get quotes from several companies when having any type of project done.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Motion the board of members approve the bid contract fiscal year 24 BO52 for clothing and sports supplies, B&G Sports, East Main Street, Waterbury is for bid as recommended by Public Works Director James Stewart.
Second.
Kim and Emily at the rec department created this bid with Felix. That is for just t-shirts, sweatshirts for the camps and events for the kids, along with their trophies and plaques and such. They went out to bid, they got 3 quotes. The quotes were very specific to what size trophy and what t-shirts and sweatshirts, so B&G came in at lowest, so that's why they chose to award it to them.
Good people.
Yes, I agree.
And they're not about people.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
aye,
Mayor Burgess authorized Mayor Hess to fill all contracts related documents for purchase of 35,000 gallons of dyed ultra low sulfur diesel fuel for the time period September 1, 2023 through August 31, 2024 for $3.2599 or less fixed prepay per gallon including tax for the total amount of $114,096.50 fiscal year 23-24 from East River Energy, Guilford, Connecticut, as recommended by Controller Allison Bruce.
Second.
Allison,
33, 34, 35 are part of our annual consortium contract that is provided, the fuel is provided by East River Energy. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We've had numerous conversations with the consortium that we're dealing with East River and following the trends on the prices. And we decided we locked down a little earlier than we have in prior years. Price is higher than last year, but we feel that we locked down on a price that's going to hold as the prices are going to, we believe, increase over the next few months until the contract renews in September.
well, so this is the recommendation of East River, what they think is best for us.
Correct. This is the consortium that was set up with Bob Butler, and Felix and I have kind of taken over Bob's spot, and Felix will be handling it going forward after this year, and having a lot of good conversations about trying to drive prices down within the consortium.
If you want to make the source it. How many towns?
Dozens. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number, but I know it's a lot. It's also boards of education and municipalities. And they are counted separately, even if they are both sides, which we are using Board of Education and us are using it as well. There's two different sets of contracts.
So historically, we've done very well with East River. Also, it's comforting to have a fixed price for budgeting purposes. And I'll just say, if this is their recommendation, I'm good with it. And I would like to note for the record that it's just about a year since we lost our budget. And makes me sad to think about it.
No, it's hard to say his name. But it's kind of, he's the one who found this and we're still benefiting from this.
All right, any questions?
I just want to add that we're doing the prepaid, which is the lowest price. If we don't prepay, it's higher, so we're going with the lowest.
And is that how we budgeted it?
Correct. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion the Board of Managers authorize Mayor Hess to issue all contracts and related documents for the purchase of 10,000 gallons number 2 heating oil for the time period September 1, 2023 through August 31, 2024 for $3.12 for 3.1 or less fixed prepaid gallon including tax for a total amount of $31,231 fiscal year 23-24 from East River Energy, Guilford, Connecticut, as recommended by Controller Allison.
Second.
Same discussion?
Same discussion.
So this is the East River's recommendation.
Correct.
All right, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion Board of Mayor Burgess authorize Mayor Hess to execute contracts with documents for the purchase of 98,000 gallons of regular unleaded gasoline. Time period September 1, 2023 to August 31, 2024 for $3.4075 or less fixed prepaid gallon including tax for a total amount of $333,935 fiscal year 23-24 on East River Energy, Guilford, Connecticut, as recommended by Controller Allison Bruce.
Same discussion.
Is there a second, Dorothy? Same discussion? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion the Board of Mayor Burgess approve the increase to Silver Special Salary Associates contract for the removal and replacement of vinyl asbestos flooring It's City Hill Middle School, Andrew Avenue Elementary School, and Salem Elementary School. Include hazmat services, the amount of $59,000 for construction documents administration.
Can I discuss this?
Why didn't they know about this when we had our capital meeting?
My answer is they did not know. There was.
Why?
My answer is that between the Board of Education and the Silver Petroselli, this was not discussed as part of the original request.
I know, but them being in this field for so long, and they're supposed to be the experts in this field, that should have been right there in all their documentation. That's why I'm pissed off at that company anyways, just so you know, I just put that out.
We understand what you're saying, but I'd like to just add a little piece. Couple pieces in.
What is there a reason we have to do this right away?
Well, they're filing the documentation for the money, and there's a time frame on it.
So when, yes,
what
there
do you-
is, but there was this, I'm stuttering again.
You're stuttering.
I don't want to do that. I'm like, which is the most important thing to say?
Because I got you stuttered.
Let me try and help. Allison, let me try and help you. What this means to me is they forgot to include hazmat services when they put the bid documents together to remove asbestos.
They put the bid documents together with hazmat as an option.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
when you're removing hazardous materials, you think you realize they're
That
hazardous.
just,
What were the other what were the other?
it was in the original contract that you approved, but it was not told by the Board of Education to you that they were choosing that to be added to the request.
so of course, don't tell the people that are gonna give them the money, all the information.
This money is coming from the Board of Ed side, just
Well,
trying to make you feel a little better
Well,
about
it
this.
still doesn't make me feel better because it's $59,000 that they should have known from right in the beginning that this had to be done. I don't care what their excuses. They've been doing this long enough that they should have known and been better prepared.
Why are you,
My comment.
why are you presenting this instead of
That's a good question, and I have the answer to that.
taking a hit?
I'm okay with taking it, okay.
I'm not hitting you. This is
No, no, no.
piano player. She
No,
raised
it's
her
okay. I submitted this motion and I asked for this motion to be brought in front of you.
The only thing they asked you to submit this.
No, they didn't realize they had to do it.
Okay.
So now to make things right, I'm here to give you the whole story. The 59,000 comes from their families.
Ready, bloodshed?
I'm
No,
gonna
no, no, no,
I'm gonna put this to a vote.
and,
The discussion is concluded.
all right,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed?
And she was doing it because it has to follow the paper trail of
Thank you.
everybody.
thank you. I'm just doing what's right. I'm here for you.
Full disclosure. We get it.
No, because Silver Petrocelli is the company that's in charge of the project.
All right.
Someone was saying.
So, where are we?
Just checking to see if I have to stay up here or not.
Step 37, motion that the Board of Mayor versus accept Weed Drive as a town road subject to verification from the street department that the road has been upgraded, paved according to the borough specifications.
Second.
Okay, so, there's been some litigation and a proposed agreement regarding Reed Drive. Jeremy, you can come forward if you want, but essentially, the housing authority is there for the past, I'm gonna say, 7 years I've been there. We've been helping them pave it, patch it, fix it, and, there was a dispute between Weed Drive and the convalescent home as to what to do. So the resolution that we're being asked to agree to is that those two entities together will redo the road. Is it a total replan?
It's gonna be a total reclamation and to adhere to our borough standards, 5 inches of asphalt, drainage, so it's like our road.
So what this says is that they're gonna pay 100% of those costs. And then subsequent to that, subject to inspection and verification, that will become a town road. And then thereafter, we will maintain.
Yes.
Questions?
Who's paying? The housing authority?
Well, there, and the convalescent.
Oh, okay. And is the width of the road remain the same? You just have to,
Everything will remain the same. They're gonna redo the catch basins. Actually, I believe Coach Yol is probably gonna end up doing it for him. He went down there and talked to him.
any need for sidewalks?
We didn't see any at the time.
Okay, I'm just wondering, you know.
Down there. If we did, we probably honestly leave that up to them if they want to install sidewalks.
Sometimes the older people like to get out and walk a little bit, that's all.
I mean, they have sidewalks on their property, you know, I don't know.
Just a question.
It did come up.
Okay.
Is there any downside to this?
No,
No, less phone calls because we have them out anyway. They're gonna get a new road and it's not gonna affect our following too much.
all right, any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion the board members to defer lease and eventual sale of 600 Rubber Avenue to the planning commission for a report pursuant to section 8-24, the general.
Second.
All right, so for this and the next two items, when we sell property, in many cases, we need to refer it, planning to make sure it's consistent with the plan of conservation and development. So this is, Genesis Academy, where we've already decided we will lease it with an option to purchase. And we're sending it to planning, for an 8-24 approval. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion the board of Burgesses refer the sale of former recycling center Rubber Avenue to the planning commission for a report pursuant to section 8-24 general statutes.
Second.
All right, same discussion, except this agreement, is contingent upon the purchaser's ability to actually build the building that we talked about and we all like. So, if that is confirmed, there will be a sale. And since we're filing the other two, we decided to file this at the same time. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
For board of Burgesses refer the sale of 6.4 acres industrial park site 207 Elm Street to the planning commission. The report pursuant to section 8-24 of the general statutes.
Second.
All right, so this is the upper level parking lot where the lumber company is going, which, is, they're gonna build two buildings. And it's gonna be a lumber company. They're operating without a building now, paying rent. And, they have a site plan they're gonna be submitting and, it would be anticipated that that sale could take place, possibly in this fiscal year. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion the board of Burgesses authorize control Allison Bruce to fund the following tax refunds approved by tax collector James Diamond as indicated.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment. So. Is there any public zone?
We have a couple.
All right, so. Anyone on Zoom or in the audience who wants to make public comment, first call. Second call for public comment. Last call for public comment. All right. Mayor and Burgess comments. So we're gonna start with the studious looking Charles Snyder.
This time I have report, comment.
Thank you for that report. Dorothy?
The planning commission had a presentation last night that, covered the comprehensive housing affordability strategy. And if anyone wants a copy of it, I'll be more than happy to send it to you. It was prepared by, see if they said, so housing questions would go to SN Bill Alda. I don't know if that's the one that was presenting, so. They didn't put a name next to it, they just said presentation.
So what is the title? Is it from COG?
Was it an NV meeting?
Oh, yeah, COG,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, there are,
it's a council of government, I got it now. Yeah.
there are allies, so.
Yeah, the information is dated 2019.
Yeah.
So it's,
Oh, they're just trying to help.
it doesn't really match what's posted as of 2021. But it's pretty interesting if anyone wants to get into data. It's pretty good.
Anything else?
That's it, yeah.
Grant?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I just want to remind people how important it is to attend the public hearing on the budget next Monday, either in person at the boardroom or by Zoom, so they can listen in and get some information. Isn't it the 15th?
It is, it's not next Monday, the 8th.
Oh, okay, it's the 15th.
Yeah.
We can't do that, I'm sorry. Good, thank you. That it's important to listen in and see what's going on.
Okay. Reagan?
Thank you.
Mike?
I have no comment.
Jan?
I have no comment.
I'm gonna make no comment.
All right.
With that look from Jim K.
No, it's good. No, any comment. That was.
Now, don't say
You're still-
anything about
you've
his
got
time.
your
No,
own
stop
down
it.
your mind.
Stop it. Stop it.
We did it later.
Okay, good. No, stop it.
No.
All right, hold
I'm
on
trying
one
to get it
second.
under door.
Look what you
Before
did.
we go into executive session, Chris, would you step forward here? All right, so this is in executive session. But I just want to, since you're here and you may not want to stay all night. So Chris Ewan is I'm going to say the spiritual leader and physical leader of the Naugatuck Skate Park. And he's put his heart and soul into it. So he's doing a fantastic job. So as we've been working on a project, what we thought is that it would be cool to put, right inside the skate park, a container that will be covered, purchased by Chris, that would be covered with cement and become actually part of the facility that will be included in the price that we're paying. And that it would be rented by an LLC that Chris set up for, we'll discuss the number in executive session, but it's $200 a month. He's gonna have insurance, real business. He had an expert help him set up his LLC, and he's ready to go in business. So does everyone think that's good?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna approve it tonight, Chris. So you don't have to stay, but we're gonna go and talk about 20 different things. And I know that you'll do a great job.
Nice.
And keep up the good work down there.
Awesome job.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, do we have a working conference number now?
I can't hear.
Remember it didn't work last month? Because Mike's at home too, right? He's still here.
Our new number, which is actually, it's not new, it's about 4 months old, but 720. Oh, I can't say it.
You can't, you gotta text it to me and Mike.
Rocky will text you.
Rocky will text it.
Yes.
All right, so let's do the motion to go in, then we'll take.
Motion that we recess to executive session at 8:47. What is it? 8:47?
Yep.
For discussion of the following real estate parcels A, B, C, Y, and Z. Naugatuck Industrial Park, Section 3, Greenfield / Rotaries via acquisition of land for downtown parking. tax incremental financing district, Church Street, Maple Street, and DNA building, former recycling center, Rubber Avenue, Linden Park, skateboard shop, collective bargaining, fire union, street union, chapter 89 union, chapter 90 union, police dispatch union, personnel, director of grants and pending litigation, inviting in
Oh,
no one.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Reconvene. I'm reconvening the regular meeting of the Borough Board at 9:20 PM. So matters coming from executive session, let's start with item 46.
Motion that the Board of Mayor Burgess authorize Mayor Hess to enter into an employment agreement with Daniel Gowie for the term of 3 years effective June 30th, until June 30th, 2027, as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Is it 3 or 4 years? I thought I extended it to 4.
It said
Do we have the contract?
Yeah. 23 to 27.
That's 4. So let's just amend the word 3 to 4, okay?
Got it.
Okay.
All right, so amended. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right, and then I will entertain a motion that I be authorized to enter into a lease agreement with Snappers Skate and Bait Shop LLC. As discussed in executive session. For a small area to be defined in the lease within the perimeter of the Naugatuck State Park.
Motion.
Second.
Questions? Discussion? I know, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, item 47,
We're gonna motion to adjourn.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hasta luego, amigo.